The boy who restored the gods does not live long. Tutankhamun, still in his teens, dies suddenly. No one knows why. Was it illness, injury, or silent murder within the palace walls? Egypt does not speak. The gods are quiet. In the Valley of the Kings, artisans prepare a hurried burial. The tomb is small, the grave goods rich but rushed. His name, carved, erased, restored, vanishes from record, forgotten. Yet the mask remains, a face of eternal youth, cheekbones of gold, eyes set in obsidian, a god's image buried beneath the desert dust. Centuries pass, dynasties rise and fall, the sands hide him well, until one day the seal is broken. A single step into the dark, and the world gasps. The boy king, long forgotten, becomes immortal, not through conquest, but through silence. In death, he speaks louder than in life. He was buried in obscurity. He rose in legend.
From the dust of a child's grave, a new dynasty is born. Viziers become pharaohs, scribes become kings. Egypt, yearning for strength, raises Seti I, a warrior, a builder, a restorer of order. He carves his legacy into the living stone of Abydos, into the bones of temples and tombs. But greater still is the son he fathers, Ramesses, bold, commanding, destined. As the Nile flows, so does his vision. Ramesses will not rule Egypt. He will redefine it. He builds cities, temples, colossal statues of himself. His name echoes through sandstone canyons. His face looks down from heights only gods knew. In a land shaped by stone and story, Ramesses crafts both, with the chisel of ambition and the hammer of time. The builders have risen, and they will raise Egypt's glory skyward, one block at a time. In stone they etched immortality. The sun burns red over the plain of Kadesh. Two empires clash, Egypt and the Hittites, each claiming to be the light of the world. Ramesses charges at the head of his chariots, a living god among men. Betrayed by faulty intelligence, his forces are ambushed. Chaos reigns. The enemy surrounds him, and yet the story changes. Ramesses, they say, stood alone, fought like 10,000. With divine strength, he broke the siege, turned defeat to glory. Or so the temples proclaim. From Abu Simbel to the Ramesseum, the walls scream his triumph. The truth, lost in dust, becomes myth. He signs the world's first peace treaty. He marries a Hittite princess, but he declares himself eternal. Carved in stone, cast in gold, the image of Ramesses watches the ages pass. The battle may be over, but the war for immortality has just begun. He has survived war, outlived enemies, bent nations to his will. Now, Ramesses rules not as man, but as divine presence. His temples scrape the skies, his statues tower like mountains. Every wall, every column bears his name, his face, his triumph. Across the Nile, the Ramesseum rises in glory. Deep in the south, Abu Simbel is carved into living cliffs, its gaze fixed on eternity. He becomes Osiris in death, Ra in life, a god not of heaven, but of stone and empire. For 67 years, he rules. Born in the chaos of succession, he becomes the longest reigning pharaoh in history. But even gods grow old. His sons die before him. His people age beneath the weight of tribute, building, worship. The monuments stand. The man begins to fade. In granite, he lives forever. But in the hearts of men, time has begun to whisper. Immortality comes at a price. The builders have risen, and they will raise Egypt's glory skyward, one block at a time. In stone, they etched immortality.
Ramesses is dead, his body mummified and entombed, his name etched across the land. But no monument can hold back the tide. After the immortal comes instability. Son follows father, brother follows brother. 10 pharaohs wear the name Ramesses, yet none bear his strength. The economy wanes, tombs are plundered, priests grow powerful, generals more so. What once was empire becomes patchwork. The Valley of the Kings, once sacred and secure, now hides the sound of grave robbers by night. Egypt still stands, but it no longer commands. Bureaucracy grows corrupt, grain runs thin, soldiers go unpaid. Foreign lands, once ruled by Pharaoh's will, begin to rebel or vanish. And so, the golden walls begin to crack. Behind the masks of god-kings are men afraid of shadows. The sun does not fall in a single night, but even gods must face the dark.
The earth shakes, the winds howl from the west. Across the Mediterranean, cities burn, empires fall. From Troy to Ugarit, ancient walls collapse. And on the sea, they come, the sea peoples. Warriors without a nation, sailors without mercy, they crash upon Egypt's shores like a living storm, armed with bronze, rage, and desperation. Ramesses III, last of the great warrior kings, prepares his defense. His scribes write of victory, of slaughter, of bodies floating in the mouths of the Nile. But victory comes at a price. The treasury bleeds, the people hunger, and behind the palace walls conspiracies fester. Even the hero cannot escape decay. Egypt stands, but not unchanged. The world around her crumbles. The Bronze Age ends in fire and ruin, and Egypt, though battered, remains the last flicker of the old world. For now. The hero is gone, but the war never ended. Ramesses IV, 5th, 6th, names that echo but fail to command. In the south, the high priests of Amun tighten their grip. Their voices rise louder than Pharaoh's. Their wealth rivals the crown. In the north, at Tanis, kings claim the throne in isolation. Egypt splits. One body, two minds. A kingdom divided not by borders, but by belief. Tombs no longer protect the dead. Temples, once sanctuaries, are now seats of shadow rule. The sun no longer rises for one king, it rises for two, and for neither. The divine order, so carefully built, begins to unravel. Scrolls record chaos, power without justice, prophets without gods, pharaohs without armies, and yet the people endure. They still build, they still pray, even as the house of Ra begins to crack. The glory has dimmed, but the embers still burn.
The tombs have been opened, not by mourners, but by thieves. The Valley of the Kings, once a place of sacred rest, now lies scarred and silent. Masks stolen, mummies burned. Pharaohs meant to rule forever are now names in broken jars. The last of the Ramesside line struggles for breath. Ramesses the 9th, Ramesses the 10th, Ramesses the 11th, forgotten even by the gods. In the south, the high priests of Amun rule openly. The throne is theirs in all but name. In the north, Tanis flickers like a dying lamp. The two Egypts speak no more. Scribal records speak of corruption, collapse, a government feeding on itself. Officials steal from temples, soldiers go unpaid, villages starve. Yet still, somewhere, a child learns to write. A mother sings to the Nile. A craftsman etches a falcon on stone. The gods are fading, but not gone. The sun sets on empire, but not on memory. In the desert wind, the last echo of glory carries on, waiting to be heard.
The sun once blazed over Thebes and Ramses, but now twilight falls. The mighty 20th dynasty trembles. Pharaoh Ramses III, last of the great warrior kings, holds back invasions, but cannot stop the rot within. In temple halls, priests whisper of unrest. In shadowed valleys, tombs, once sealed with eternal spells, are cracked open. Robbers plunder sacred silence. Egypt bleeds from within. Corruption, strikes, and famine gnaw at her core. The Valley of the Kings becomes a crime scene. Gold vanishes, mummies desecrated. Foreigners press from every side. The Libyans rise. The Sea Peoples rage. Order gives way to chaos. The gods are silent. The Nile's rhythms lose their certainty. And in the darkness, even the eternal loses shape. A final dynasty flickers, then fades. Native rule will crumble. But Egypt does not die. In tombs, on stone walls, and in the stories whispered through ages, the gods remember. The empire fades, but its spirit endures.